Episode 15, Finding Your Place.
15.
Yeah.
Lock
Reggie
it down.
Grubb,
Let's lock
man.
it down.
Hey, my guy here, Pulaski, Reggie Grubb, he's got almost 100,000 followers on TikTok.
Right.
I've been following you for, I don't know, probably a year now.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's, dude, I love what you're talking about. I want to bring my audience your voice.
Right.
I want you to just tell them who you are,
Right.
you know, what you're talking about, what, you know, kind of some of the, you know, when you say you're a light worker, you know, maybe explain what that is, you know.
All right, man. Just like when you look in the Bible in Revelation 7, chapter 7, it talks of the 144,000 light workers. I grew up a Christian kid, follower of Christ. No practicing with crystals or anything, you know, no pun intended if that's what you're doing, but none of that. And my son got sick, and it forced me to look within like I've never before because I couldn't pay for his medical expenses.
Yeah.
So I just found myself in the morning, not even really asking God for anything, just being grateful, but this urge to do it. It was like 4 a.m. every day for months. And all of a sudden, and the Hindus or even some of the spiritual coaches say it's like an accidental kundalini or whatever, like all your chakras in your body, everything opens up. And then you're shown enough to know that you really know nothing. But you're shown enough that you understand that we're in a matrix.
Yeah.
Humanity's being controlled at a rate that not all is intended to really comprehend. But then there's those who are on the fence, who just needs that nudge to say, hey, oh. And a lot of times when we're looking at throughout history, when the mass deaths and everything has took place, humanity is in a very critical point right now.
Yeah.
We could be a QR scan, or we can end up being free from out under the heel of the one who controls the one that controls the politician. See, Lucifer, if you believe that way, he's crept into, and you see the symbolism and everything.
Yeah.
That's going to be his downfall. That's going to be the deer mark of what's going on. Is when you see in Hollywood, sports, musicians, it sounds crazy, but even in politicians and so forth, you see the same symbolism.
Right.
And that symbolism is a devotion and allegiance to some of the most powerful families in the world.
Right.
And they dictate. So, you know, a lot of people who are outside the matrix, they're going to say, or let's say, everyday life.
Yeah.
And we don't have to call it the matrix. We could just say everyday life. Yeah. People in everyday life.
People like to scoff at that red pill stuff.
Right. So we just stick with that element though. But
I believe in it 100%.
Right. Because you're being controlled in a way beyond what you can even comprehend. Once you mind the light worker aspect of me, I've been shown enough to know that we really know nothing. But man, I wrote a 124,000 word novel.
Wow.
In 3 months.
Just poured out of you.
Like 15 hours.
Wow.
Boom, like 15,000 words. My wife come like, Reggie, you didn't even move today. Like I know what kind of level we can operate at.
Yeah.
But we're under this oppressive thought process. And it's a very critical time for humanity, because what we're going to do is what we're going to see is this being took out of the hands of potentially, this is the battle that's going on. This is spiritual. And, you know, if you look at Donald Trump, he said, hey, this is a battle over the soul of the country. Joe Biden said the same thing. So this is a spiritual battle going on. So we can even throw in factors like human trafficking and so forth. In this new quantum financial system, you see that money doesn't thrive.
Yeah.
So you can't human traffic people in this new monetary system.
Right.
And you know that's far fetched for a lot of people to understand. But if you follow with me, Facebook just come out and said they're going to be called Meta, correct?
Yeah.
So we got the metaverse. So what that is a quantum world of real estate, landscapes in the digital space.
Right.
We're wearing these helmets. So if you got all this stuff going on that moves like this,
Yeah.
your old fiat system cannot keep up
Yeah.
with the speed of that.
Right.
So what we're seeing is a reset of our currency
Yeah.
worldwide.
Right.
And that's a very intimidating factor. And I always tell people, like, the last infrastructure bill, I'm not saying the green initiative isn't bad. I'm just saying I love when Facebook came out of this, because I'm gonna hang my hat on as hard as I can.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang my hat on as hard as I can. So like, the old Facebook's gonna die.
Yeah.
This new Meta Facebook, with the mass, you go in, all your friends come in there, everybody's real life characters, and we're all chatting and talking, like, and creating posts and calling people in and out, messaging people on our digital. Like, this is a whole Ready Player One scenario.
Wow.
You mean to tell me the old Facebook's gonna compete with that?
No.
Okay, it has to die. And so for our monetary system to enter into this green, it has to die.
Yeah.
So while we're excited about the infrastructure bill and so forth, we also have to be patient with the process of deconstruction of this old monetary system. Which, if you look back in 44, the U.S. dollar becomes the standard for the world.
Yeah.
We have the atom bomb dropped. We have the Spanish flu. We have Gates giving vaccines back then. We have the creation of the radio. We got the creation of 5G. We have Corona. Like, it's not, I'm not saying that Corona is not real. I'm saying they use these events to usher in just new technologies,
Right.
the new monetary systems, and so forth. So if I send you $20 to California, Scott, you know how long that's going to take for that $20 to get there.
Right.
Well, there's digital cryptocurrency, and we'll talk about this in a bit, that can do that all around the world in seconds.
Yeah.
So it has to change. The question for me is, and I believe that China is the blueprint of what they want for the whole world.
Right. They're the model.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the blueprint. Social credit score. You go become a QR scan. Your in and outs is going to be dictated or whatever. And a lot of people are like, I don't know. But if we study the past,
Yeah.
the Jewish people, when they ask them, hey, man, why didn't y'all leave? The first thing they said, Scott, was, we didn't think it could get any worse.
Yeah.
And here we are. It's getting worse.
Right.
But like I was telling my son, I said, you have to think of a currency reset. And I'm not going to act like I'm the all-knowing.
Yeah.
I'm not a financial advisor, but I am. I'm shown things in dreams and visions.
So you have very deep visions and dreams that just bring revelation to your life, and that you're trying to just express to other people.
Right, but I can write them down and they come to pass.
Gotcha.
Like I've did videos. Like
Yeah.
I've said, okay, at this point, I'm going to just say, hey, this is what I'm experiencing.
Yeah.
And let's see if some of this stuff turns like this, because I don't watch news or anything like that. So yeah, definitely a spiritual guy, but I had to focus on something that people can hang their hat on.
Yeah.
And then that is currency reset and hyperinflation.
Yeah.
Of seeing a shift in our monetary system that none of us has really been able to see.
Right.
Kathy Wood, who had the ARC, if you follow the stock market,
Yeah.
she's saying deflation, but she's not factoring in that China is sitting on a $55 trillion real estate bubble.
Right. I seen that. I seen you talking about what is
Yeah.
that? What is that in U.S. dollars?
Right. 55. Like if I break down right now for you, $1 million in seconds, we're looking at 11 days.
Wow.
if I break down $1 billion for in seconds, we're looking at 33 years.
Yeah.
But if I say a trillion, that's like 3,030 some years.
Wow.
In seconds.
Wow.
Just to put that in perspective, like when people are saying trillion, let's put it in perspective.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then if you dive deeper, you will see that the Lehman Brothers in China, this is a Lehman event. So when we have the great market crash that swings us into the Great Depression, you see it a Lehman Brothers event.
Yeah.
So I'm telling people, based on what I believe, that you should probably have a 3-month supply to get you through winter. I don't know how fast that they'll try to swing it. I could go down deep in this rabbit hole, and it sounds like woo-woo, so I'm not going to do that. But I want to stay really basic with it. I think every American right now can see, if they go to the grocery store, the prices.
Or the gas station.
Or the gas station, okay? And then if you even look like even how you get oil from the West Coast to the East Coast, how much money it takes to get that oil just to ship to a different country. I don't know if we're in the greatest spot, but I do believe if you think black hats, white hats, I'm gonna make it really simple.
Right.
I don't really identify with any political party.
Yeah.
I don't see Trump as my savior. Don't dislike the guy. I'm just saying, I have a different perspective. But I would say that what I call Lucifer, or whether it's the powerful families, they've infiltrated their way in everything that we know.
Yeah. So the global elite is the real thing. And you think, I mean, it feels like, correct me if I'm wrong, it feels like and I kind of subscribe to the belief that the global power kind of took Trump out, and they kind of inserted Biden in so they could get more of a puppet in there and to kind of get along with their agenda.
Right.
Right. So do you feel like that's accurate?
Well, I think that wherever there's evil, there's good. So if there's evil elite globalists, then there's good ones.
Right.
And I believe that light casts out darkness. Yeah. And we're just seeing so much exposure. People say, "Oh, Reggie, it sounds like lunatic." Get on Google, look at the Rothschilds, look at their parties, and if your skin's not crawling, then I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. And these are the people who are controlling our monetary systems: the Artesian families, the Morgan families, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers. Like, this is it. Like, Rockefeller pretty much created our whole get a house, work in an industry job, whatever. But we're seeing the collapse of what we call his matrix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So they created the debt that money's made on with the houses and the products and the credit cards and all this stuff.
Right.
Now that's shifting away. They're trying to create this global system. I almost fear for the sovereignty of all these countries. It's kind of like, are we going to have any borders? Are we going to be able to divide in sections? In countries and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
It's an in-your-face conversation, but we're also in the greatest wealth transfer. The baby boomers, they want your money. Just letting y'all guys know, you might want to think different. Like, I have a conversation with my dad. I'll just toss it out there. I'm not a financial advisor, but silver is just as safe investment as any one thing that you can invest in. Only because we see, if we look at Venezuela, if we look at Germany, if we look at Zimbabwe, we see the patterns of a tremendous market crash.
Yeah. You said there's 23 countries that just have excluded the U.S. dollar. They don't trade in U.S. dollars anymore.
But they're losing faith in it.
Yeah.
See, because fiat, it only has power because it's not backed by anything. Like since 71, Nixon was like, we're going to take the standard off of gold, off the dollar. So now we, for the longest time, I think it's something in our subconscious that says, oh, this can never happen here.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Roaring '20s, Americans now are just as arrogant as they were and just as ignorant. Because when the market crashed, most people didn't even know, especially in New York, unless you had an extra paper. Like the radio hadn't come out or whatever. So all this came at them at left field.
Right.
So this is where the light worker comes in. It's like I'm enlightening you and showing you, hey, this is on the forecast.
Right.
And there's some things that you have some time, whether it's investing in precious metals, because it's hard to muster out of your mouth the collapse of the United States dollar.
Yeah. Like we all want to gamble that we're going to be good. We want to gamble that the United States will just keep taking on, and like I want to bet on my country. I want to bet on my people.
Absolutely.
I don't want to short us. I want to be very long on us.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, like prepare. You got to prepare. Expect the best, prepare for the worst. Right.
Right. I mean, just yesterday, I pulled all the stocks that I have. Yeah. I think S&P 500 might be a good hedge against inflation. I'm not sure about that. I don't have enough in it to put that type of faith in it. So I pull mine out. I really do believe, and I'm not saying this off my whim. I have mentors. Oh, my bad.
That's all good.
I have mentors. I have people who are connected to Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yeah. Robert
Kiyosaki, yeah. Guys who's connected to Eric Thomas, the hip hop motivational speaker.
Love that guy.
Yeah, so I'm not just on the whim. Like my publisher is a mentee to the world phenomenal.
Yeah.
Lisa Nichols. So this is my publisher. It's like she worked under Lisa Nichols.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So I only want to connect myself around people who have tremendous insight, whatever. So even though I'm spiritual, I didn't want to just branch off and just throw out all this whack stuff. Yeah. I want to bring to you some things that can really happen.
Right.
And the Federal Reserve has printed more money in the past 5 months than they have in the history of the United States of America.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you obviously it's transitory and it usually balances out. But Jerome Powell, he said, I'm not sure it's going to this time.
Right.
And then I had a conversation with my dad. I'm like, Dad, 12 months ago when I told you I had these visions about, a market crash and things of that nature, you was telling me, Dad would tell me, and he's a preacher. So he said, Reggie, in the Bible, Daniel, he was a dreamer. God was showing him things. People didn't like him too much. Things he said, it rubbed them wrong. Yeah. But that's part of being a light worker, is I have to be able to jar you and to say, and then point to you and say, hey, just take a look at a deeper look there. Yeah. And you tell me what you see. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So in that process of doing that, I have seen Lynette, I'll call her name out, my mentor, who's big into crypto, but he connected me with Lynette Zhang. She's works with the IMF or like precious metal, gold and silver.
Right.
You could check her videos out on YouTube. She deals with gold and silver, like I said. When I start listening to this lady, and then I'm debating with her. I have this little conversation, and she's like, Reggie, ignorance doesn't make you safe.
Right.
It makes you vulnerable. And so I'm thinking about all the people in the Roaring '20s, millionaires that woke up.
All the wealth gone.
Gone. Gone.
Yeah.
And man, we're on like almost 100-year anniversary on that.
Yeah.
And history doesn't repeat itself, but it tends to rhyme. Mm-hmm. And if you could draw the conclusions, Spanish flu, Corona, the creation of the radio, 5G, the creation of war or some type of black swan event. You know, we're seeing very similar things here.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I can logically do to not just fend people off or make me think people think I'm crazy or whatnot is stick with something like the monetary system.
Yeah.
You know, what does that mean, yo? So I started finding out about cryptocurrency. So I'm going to press pause on that, man. I want to go to my book.
Yeah.
Because my book is what got me on.
Right.
Oh, gosh, man. TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it wasn't for my novel, Josephine, that's going to drop February 2nd, 2022. If it wasn't for this novel, I would have never come across TikTok. I would have never come across the information, the enlightenment that I told you about. We're going to switch to the quantum financial system. So
how did you trip over that? How did you get to the way where you did to get the book deal? Where did you get to, like, that book deal? Did they make you aware of these social media platforms and you just said, all right, well, TikTok is my flavor, I like that, I'm gonna go with that? Or do you do it all? Like, are you on Instagram too? Or like, just, I mean, how did you amass 99,000 followers like that? Yeah, I mean, local guy, I mean, you're an inspiration to me. I'm trying to get that kind of following. I mean, I'm sure, I know you have to fend off a lot of hate comments. I've seen you responding to hate comments, but I know there's opportunity in all of those followers for you to enhance your life in a better way.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely. Well, once again, we'll go back to when, and I've had visions and I've seen things that, and I've been informed. I have been informed that I was a light worker and that my soul is here to enlighten humanity. But most patterns of light workers, they grow up in religious homes. They grow up middle class, so they can identify with lack, but they also understand the value of the good things in life. Yeah, and but tremendous hardship. So I've had tremendous hardship in my life, and so when my son got sick and he forced me, I said, man, I can never be in a position again to and I'm gonna drop some knowledge here for my my black men, my young black males and so forth. I need you to listen up. I said, man, how do I get out of this position? The word, like, if my son needs medication, I don't have to just script and scram to get it. Yeah. And then man, I was consuming 4 to 5 books a week. Dude, I'm just telling you, just like crazy. I just become a book addict, just consuming information. And then I come across the term asset. Like, what's an asset? My dad is a top manager at American Electric Power. My grandfather worked the shipyard. I didn't know what an asset was. So this is what I'm saying. Instead of buying George, instead of looking fly, whatever, you're going to have to acquire some assets. But I didn't know that. So at the time, I'm like, well, what do I have? What kind of tangible skills do I have? And it came across, boom, Reggie, you're a storyteller. You're articulate with your words. Yeah. So how about, and I've always loved art. I'm working on a painting right now, like you see me put up. Yeah. I'm always branching out and creating stuff. You know, I'm a firm believer of that because that's who I am, man. So the idea, boom, to write a book. So, and I tell him this: when your ambition is so big, like when you've been pressed to the bottom, like I'm talking about under the mud, and that ambition strives, like your calling chooses you. Yeah. So I had a vision, man. The little boy said, God wants you to write a book called Where the Wind Blows. I was like, okay. So it took me like 2 weeks to write out the outline for Where the Wind Blows. But when I got done, I felt bad that my dad wasn't a pastor because he was an evangelist at the time.
Right.
But I made him a pastor in the story, just a little boy who's wanting time from his dad or whatever. But my dad got a call that day to be a pastor.
Whoa.
Yeah, so I kind of knew right then I had a lot of God working for me in that sense. So I was thinking, yo, man, this is going to be, boom, top of the world. I'm going to be, I'm going to sell 20 million of these kids' books or whatever. Not happening. I learned I was just starting to cut my teeth, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just now starting to cut my teeth. So I end up writing a school-age book. I teach myself how to self-market, teach myself how to self-publish. And I got fed up. Everybody's always saying, oh, you got a book, Reggie. That's cool. Did you self-publish? I'm like, why does people keep telling me, did I self-publish? Like, is there something bad about self-publishing? Like, right. I just wrote a book.
Yeah. Like, hey, the independent artist that blows gets paid way more than the artist that's signed.
Right, right. But at the time I'm just straight ambition.
Yeah.
So I ended up writing another young adults book. I'm learning, and then as I write a book called When God Gives an Assignment, I also entered into, you might know Dan Pena.
Yeah.
Very vibrant, vibrant.
Kind of out there, kind of like
most people won't like.
Brash.
Most people won't like him.
Yeah.
But when you become a lion.
Yeah.
See, I'm a lion.
Yeah.
See, I'm so hungry, bro. There's no quenching.
Right.
There's no quenching what's inside me.
Right.
So I said, man, I like this, man. I don't know. I can't go to his castle, but maybe I can get involved in this QLA. And then I start learning some steps to success. And one of those is, who do you listen to?
Yeah.
You listen to the best.
Yeah.
So as I'm writing When God Gives Assignment, I become obsessed with Margaret Atwood, Tom Patterson, Ernest Hemingway, Stephen King, J.K. Rowling. I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
Like, I can tell you their schedule. I can tell you the writing goals, how they feel about character. I can sit here and tell you about my characters, and I'll start crying.
Wow.
Like, it becomes so real to me. Like, my characters are so real. Like, I must say, like, it's schizophrenia.
Wow.
Like, I see them. Like, I feel them. I could tell you what they smell like. I could tell you their favorite food.
So you could literally transform into them.
Yeah, but if you don't study the best,
yeah,
you won't commit to 1 year only studying.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, man, what, and I'm writing. And I always tell people this, man, if you're ambitious, it'll pick you. Josephine, I heard her name in my sleep. Her name means God will increase. So Josephine, I hear Josephine. So I wake up and hit my wife like, did you hear Josephine? She's like, no. I was like, that's really odd, man. I heard Josephine all day long. Josephine.
Wow.
So I get on a bus at work. I'm working at, I get on a van, man. And when I get on the van, the whole book dropped in my head.
Wow.
I went straight to work, wrote the outline. I even picked out people who looked like the characters that I had seen, printed them off, created profiles for them, etc. Their favorite foods.
Wow.
Where they went to high school.
So you created their whole story.
Right. And then I showed it to this person that was helping me edit at the time. And she said, are you going to write this in first person or second person or third person or whatever? And I'm like, what's that? I'm being for real. Like, I should not have 120. I should not be a contracted licensed publisher with the contract, with a book. I shouldn't even have that.
Yeah.
But this is why the how don't matter.
Yeah.
It's just the why.
Right. Why
you want it. In my eyes, I don't want to be in position to have to take care of my son.
Gotcha.
She said, are you going to write this? And I was like, yeah, sure. So she chalks up and she said, well, I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. I said, can you give me, she give me like some 3rd or 4th grade level worksheet. And I'm able to see the difference between first person and third person. And I said, and the third person's omniscient. It means that you're the God of the novel.
Yeah.
And I said, that's it. So I went home and I wrote the first 5 pages of chapter 1 of book 2. Book 2 is at almost 100,000 words. Wow. I wrote it simultaneously.
Wow.
With 4 jobs. Never missed a high school basketball game. Never missed a college football game of my son's. Just straight grinding, sleeping 1 or 2 hours a day.
Wow.
And I finally get it done, man. So Josephine has been edited, I want to say 14 times. She's been rewritten 4 times.
Wow.
It's had 53 rejections. I've written over 300 and some proposals to literary agents, or they call them queries, because you got to give your book like a literary to a literary agent. And what I was coming up with, and I was telling him the same thing: black writer, new writer, and writing third person omniscient. Strike. But then the last failure that I got, the last rejection, this is a good publicist. She said, Reggie, there's no doubt that we're going to see your book, that we're going to be able to buy your book, but you don't have a Twitter. Like most writers have a Twitter account. So you need to set up a Twitter account. Listen, because when you get locked in with God like I did, there's no social media. There's no TV. There's nothing. I didn't watch TV, radio, nothing. There's no negative influences. It's just straight vision.
Yeah.
You're just locked in this zone. So I said, all right. So I create the Twitter, and I get a bing. Hey, you got a novel? I'm like, yeah. Can I see the first chapter? Yeah. She said, wow, this is really like, you don't have like a style that I've ever seen. Could you send me the next 2 chapters? So I sent her first. She said, hey, I want to take this project. So she took the project. And she said, hey, but this needs a different professional edit. And that's going to cost you $3,000. I was like, bruh, $3,000?
Yeah.
I have 1 kid in private school, 2 in college.
Wow.
And working 3 jobs. I said, you know what? If Josephine belongs to God like I know she does, I'm gonna pay you 4. It's the same reason I brought you to 1.
Yeah.
I'm going to exceed what the expectation is.
Yeah.
And so, man, the 3,000 just showed up. It just showed up in my checking account. My wife called and she said, where does $3,000 come? I said, I don't know. The numbers just showed up. And then I got a call. I was like, well, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I can write. Yeah, I can get this edit. And then I pay for, I'm like, yo, where's my other 1,000? I need to sell 1,000. I promised her 4, you know? And I got a call, hey, we've been seeing you grinding, just like you said, and said, hey, we're going to cut you $1,000 check just to believe in what you're doing. Had never asked nobody nothing.
Wow.
So I sent her the $4,000. She fell in love with, the editor fell in love with Josephine to a rate that she did a $16,000 edit on it for $4,000. Yeah, because, man, when you really want to publish a book the right way, yeah, it's gonna cost you some duckies, man.
Wow.
Yeah. Even Tom Patterson, whatever, it's gonna cost you some of your income because you gotta hire professional editors,
right.
You gotta hire writing coaches, etc., whatever. And say I'm just straight greenhorn coming up, and and I'll get to the point where once I realized all this was being processed, boom. COVID hits. And I'm like, yo, I had plans on marketing my book, The Recipe, going and doing some motivational speakings and so forth all around the counties because I had already been in a lot of the schools and stuff, working the after school programs, serving in the beans and rice, just serving. Yeah. Because if you want to do anything great, man, you got to be willing to, you got to we got to be on this frequency of giving. Yeah. Like you got to be able to receive, but you got to be able to give.
Yeah. the pendulum swings equally.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, sometimes, you know, people don't understand that, you know, to be selfless, first you have to be selfish. You know, like there's a moment you have to go do for you so you can do for others. You know?
Absolutely. You gotta love yourself first. So I'm pouring myself into this project, and it looks bleak. And my son, I see him outside doing this Justin Bieber dance or whatever. And I'm out here doing the little dances with me, having fun. I'm like, man, what is this? Because once again, I'm gonna go back. I was never on social media. And then I said, yo, I can do a marketing tool for this. I can market Josephine with this. And I didn't set no goal. I just start teaching everything that I learned, but it's in layman terms. So it's like if you are a black kid living, or even a white kid, if your socioeconomic status is not there, or maybe your reading skills is low, I can teach you, man, how to create assets, how to better yourself, to educate yourself, what you can do, whatever. So I was like, man, I'm going to just teach what I know and what I've learned, just put it in a real way people can comprehend.
Right. So it feels like you've just gravitated toward the things that are in your mind that you've seen that have come to you, and like you're just putting your voice out there consistently with good strategies. Like, I mean, how did you even figure this stuff out?
Right. It's like I was telling him, and I learned this in QLA. It is not about the how. It's the why.
Right.
And then how do I get from unconscious incompetence to unconscious competence? Like, how can I, like, when I'm at unconscious incompetence, I know that I don't know. Or I don't know that I don't know. And then I go to conscious incompetence. Now I start realizing, I don't know this. And then I go to conscious competence. Like, I'm starting to roll with this. But then you flow in mastery. That's why I was telling him, you know, with Josephine, if I put my time on it, we're looking at 14,000 hours.
Wow.
Of time spent on this. And I'm a believer that this is how the brain works. Once you marry heart emotion with your imagination, you start the process. It's like a game.
Can you say that again?
Say what?
When you marry, say that again.
Yeah, when you marry your heart emotion. Because the heart magnetic wave is 10,000 times that of the brain. And people, this is once again, people in the matrix or people in everyday life, like, what are you talking about? But how does dolphins communicate? How does whales communicate? You mean to tell me that, like, I can almost feel what you're thinking, even though you're over here on this other side of the room. So we have that. So when you marry that emotion, you put this frequency out there, and then it starts to manifest. But it's like a game. I'm telling you, bro, it's like a game. Like, so if I decide I'm going to walk 1 mile or 100 miles one way, I'm going to hit valleys. I'm going to hit high places. I'm going to see rain. I'm going to see a beautiful sunrise. I'm going to meet some beautiful people. I'm going to meet some buttholes. I'm going to meet some snakes in the grass. This is a game. And it's not so much about the arrival or the ending. It's that process of coming alive and having a human experience to achieve things that you want to see happen in your life. So what happened was, as TikTok's going on and all this stuff is going on in the world, I'm seeing this other guy. You might see him. He's Coach JV. He's like, Warriors Rise. I don't know if you've ever tried.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. But he starts saying things that I had seen in visions.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, what's this guy talking about? So now we're going to talk about the new quantum financial system. We're going to talk about how I've stumbled into things. Y'all know Chef T, don't you? She was on Hell's Kitchen. Chef T. Yep. One of her favorite sayings is, and now that I'm talking about food, I'm going to give a shout out to Craig Hodge and his wife with the Hodgepodge cookies over in Radford. They're doing a thing. But she says you never stumble on anything sitting down. And I love that because
Definitely.
that's it. You just stumble into things while you're in this game in the pursuit of the things that you want to see manifest in your life.
In motion.
Yeah. Just like I'm sitting here talking to you. You stumble into things. And I've learned, hey, it's a gesture.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring this because you might be setting me up to something I don't even really understand.
Right.
Or no, I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I start saying, what in the world is crypto? Like, what is that?
Yeah.
And I said to myself, oh, man, after I started looking at it, there's this dude that hit me up when I was ambition to start with. And I think I passed on one of the, like, you get these secret levels in games. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could take the different route or whatever. Yeah. And this guy hit me up just out of nowhere. Hey, man, would you like to invest in Bitcoin? It's like, I want to say it might have been like $1,200-$1,400 at the time.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I'd like to get that price again.
Passed on it.
Yeah.
And so when I learned, and I was like, dang, man. So when I seen this, and I'm looking at what he's saying, I said, okay, God, give me insight and clarity so I can help people. This new quantum financial system, if you look at the ISO 222,
yeah,
you see big names on this ledger.
Yeah.
But on those, there's 4 cryptocurrencies: XDC, XLM, XRP, and Algorithm. I start looking at the companies because Warren Buffett says if you're going to invest in something, go all in and look at the infrastructure. Don't just, the hype on whatever. So, because when you first see Bitcoin, you're like, man, ain't nobody got $60,000 to buy one coin or something like that.
Right.
So you don't really understand the process that you could buy a portion of it if
right.
that's something.
You could put $100 into it. I don't think people even know that.
Yeah,
they can buy fractions of it.
Yeah, you could just buy little functions, man. And, but anyhow, when I looked at Brad Garlinghouse, this guy created AOL. How do you not invest in the guy that created internet?
Yeah.
Rosie Rios is on their team. Her name is on what we would call Blue Notes, or Ben Franklin's $100. Her name is on our currency.
Right.
And she says this will be the last monetary system that you will see of the currency of me working on this currency.
Wow.
She pretty much told you right there, we're going to have a currency reset. We're going to switch from the old fiat system that moves anciently slow, and it's corrupt, that is. How I can give you $500 that's really just created out of nothing, and then say, you owe me interest on it, and get back. So, this system is no longer going to work. And we're seeing it all over the world. There's one company, oh gosh, I can't remember, but they bought like $40 million of gold bars to hedge against a black swan event.
Wow.
I want to call it Pilar or something. I could be wrong on that, but it's an information based company, so you can look it up. But anyhow, I'm looking at that, and I start having visions, and like I'm seeing electric cars, electric planes. I'm seeing fast transactions, like you going outside and just being able to say, hey, I need an Uber, and then you don't even need a phone, like you won't even be a phone.
Wow.
But I'm seeing this, not anything that I've looked up and researched.
Right.
So I'm starting saying, okay, well, Elon's doing this, man. He's putting all this stuff. What's he putting up in the sky? Starlink. We're looking at, I like how it danged when I said Starlink. We're looking at global internet.
Yeah.
We're looking at a financial system we don't quite understand. But anyhow, I started making those investments. But as I start digging deeper, I'll start learning about this currency reset. And I say, Father God, now I understand what you want me to do. And I said, but you got to show me some different way. I said, because I ain't gonna just put myself out there and seem like a Fruit Loop, because it sounds crazy what I'm saying.
Yeah.
When you start telling people the U.S. dollar is about to collapse, it's hard. It's a hard pill to digest.
Yeah.
Like my dad, my own father told me I was crazy when I said it. But I look back as I was getting gas, and on the license tags behind me, it said, warn them. Warn them.
Wow.
Warn them. So, we have to get prepared for currency reset. And that's not even my own words. That's Lynette Zhang, a mentor of mine. If you look her up on YouTube, I don't want to just say,
we'll find her. We'll kind of bring her bull thing up so people can find her too.
Yeah. Look at Lynette. Listen to her.
Yeah.
Listen to what this lady has to say. She studied currency for 50-some years. She understands that currency has their own lifespan. So I'm digging in. I'm learning I know I'm from Max Meadows, Virginia.
Right.
I know at least 100. Like my best friends will look like somebody on Duck Dynasty.
Right.
I grew up in the country where we catch catfish with our hands. We ride dirt bikes, 4-wheelers. We go out, hunting and things of this nature. This is how I grew up.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact there's millions of Americans who do not use banks. They're cash only.
Wow.
And just like the people during the Roaring '20s, they do not see this coming. They are not prepared for this transition. And I told my son, in the best way, I asked God to give me wisdom. There's a Proverbs, I think it's 19:2, says the lack of knowledge is horrible for the soul. Well, and that's what it goes along with what Lynette says. Ignorance doesn't keep you safe; it makes you vulnerable. And we're living in an age where the truth will offend somebody, but they want to digest a sweet lie. I don't want no sweet lies, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
America, I think an awake America dictates, and this is why I was big on Virginia going red. Not that I'm a Republican.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about that.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I was big on that because I feel if I would just do a rough estimate, and I'm nobody to just say this for 100% sure, but I would say the reason why I become an independent is it's kind of like cancel culture. Like my whole life, I voted Democrat, just like it was the cool thing to do to buy Jordans.
Yeah.
Remember, let's go back to when I said I didn't know what an asset was. Why are the black people that oppressed with the knowledge on how to make money and such a whatever? It's not something that's taught. So cancel culture is something we're taught. You got to be a Democrat. You got to be a Democrat. You got to be a Democrat. And my dad was a Republican, and I seen people make fun of him my whole life. So I was like, why does people make fun of my dad? Like, I don't get it. But, I want to be cool. I'm rocking the J's. I'm looking fly, whatever. So, nah, I'm going to just go. I'm going with the Democrats. But it just seemed like, man, from now that I'm awakened, you're telling me something nice on when it's time for voting, but outside of that, you're really not doing anything for my party.
They're coming for your vote, and they're promising, and then they're no showing on the things that they're trying to deliver. But in my opinion,
right? And I'm not disagreeing with that. But then I would say that 25%, and I ain't talking about. When I'm talking about politics, I'm talking about D.C. I'm not talking about
local,
because I have friends in both parties, and none of that even applies because they're thinking conservative, they're thinking progressive, they're thinking new policies, reform, etc. But they're not thinking on the rims like I'm thinking at D.C.
Yeah,
white hats versus black hats.
Yeah, and
I would say the upper to 25% of the Republican Party is bought too. Yeah. They're controlled too. So you're looking at a controlled system. And that's why I've always been an independent when I start looking at it like that. But I believe that if this new quantum financial system, there's two dear marks that I think that makes me think you want the white hats to be in control of this system. Because we're looking at a thriving America like we've never seen. we're looking at humanity for once out from up under the heel of the globalists.
Yeah.
And I believe that Virginia is a sign of that the white hats are secretly winning this thing behind the scenes. I'm not going to say Trump is my savior. I think Jesus is my savior.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that out there. But I would also say that I believe that there is a good fighting this. And we can go deep down that tunnel. Yeah. I really don't want to do that. But I do want to say that I think it's a symbol that they are controlling this new quantum financial system. If the globalists are in control of this quantum financial system, the blueprint is China. Okay, China is everything I'm saying to you that sounds foreign. China's been doing for years.
Yeah, they've been gobbling up all the assets. They've got all the minerals,
all the gold.
They got all of the assets of the world. I think they just pretty much bought Africa or something. Right. Some big, some big transaction happened. I think China's trying to set up their currency or some sort of thing.
Like a centralized banking. They have the digital yuan.
Right.
So when you go outside, they looks at your eyes and you say, hey, I want an apple, whatever. Yeah. It's already takes out your accounts, whatever.
That's when we're hearing the social credit score, right?
Yeah.
And not just a credit score based on your income and like how you've handled your debt over time, but like how you interact with people.
Yeah, and how obedient you are.
Oh, there you go. That's it.
You're losing all your freedoms.
Yeah.
So when everybody kicks back, when this new bill, the infrastructure bill, they say, "Hey, whoa! What do you mean you're gonna be looking at my account? If I buy something over $600, y'all guys are gonna be in my account."
Yeah.
That's where that's from.
Right.
But I feel very hopeful more than I ever have. Because we see an economic crisis there. They're not thriving like you would think. Mm. And I think that the money that buys and says, hey, we're going to give you this and you get this and this if you do this and this, and it dictates how things are swung and voted on, etc.
Yeah.
Then Virginia's blue. But and this is just my speculation. This is not facts. When it went red, I became hopeful, and I don't mind saying it. I think that the White Hats, or how I really want to say it, is guys won this. But it's a light switch moment, like when you cut a light off and on. What's in between it?
Yeah.
And that for us, for Americans, for the everyday working American, they've already telling you by 2030, the jobs will be all artificial intelligence. And somebody's like, Reggie, okay. Well, what company has the most transportation in the world and don't own no cars?
Right.
Uber.
Yeah.
Who has the most hotel reservations but don't have no hotels?
Yeah.
Airbnb. This is the age that we're coming in. So, So all this I did, and I wanted to just enlighten people.
Yeah.
Hey, this currency reset is real.
Yeah.
And do your own investigation. If I'm talking to myself, I say, hey, it's winter time. Have you a 3-month supply of water? Silver, if you get your hand on silver and gold, because it's going to reevaluate when this new currency comes across. Dry foods, your medicines and things of that nature, and just have a supply as you can come. And then you say, oh no, Reggie, it's really far off. Listen, the ships are out in the ocean.
Yep, they can't get in.
Okay, they're cutting our pipelines off. So this is stuff that you can fact check me on. When you start digging in, you're like, oh, this is what Reggie's saying. Yeah. Reggie's pointing us somewhere. And just, be thinking about that. But I feel that as an American, I feel hopeful, more so now than 8 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I think that what we're seeing, and I'm going to bring y'all back to what President Trump said and President Biden said. We're in a battle for the soul of a nation. Now, you had both parties tell you that.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's going on, man.
I like the Trump quote where he was like, they're not after me, they're after you.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was in the way, pretty much. Is
Right. I think that there's definitely some type of entity, and I don't even know. I don't do conspiracy theories and so forth, but I do believe wherever there's evil, there's good.
Yeah.
And I feel very hopeful for America. But please, if you're watching this video, and that's really what I want to hit is I'm thinking about. And some of my guys, they've laughed at me to begin with.
Yeah.
But now they got crypto wallets. Okay? Now they got crypto wallets. So, some good cryptos to go into. Can we talk about that real quick? Bitcoin's not going anywhere. The ATMs are being placed everywhere.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all. And we might see, you might see it, and this is Robert Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
He said you might see it drop to a nominal rate to where it looks like it's nothing.
Yeah.
But then that brother's it's gonna come back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like digital gold.
Yeah.
Ethereum. We got ADA.
Yeah.
Cardano. We have XRP, XLM, Algorithm. What's the other? XDC. It's a little bit to get the XDC, but you can get the XDC, and then HBAR. When we look at what this metaverse with Facebook, HBAR, the technology is called gossip technology. It feeds off of one thing one person says, loops it, swings it back, and then it operates so fast. So HBAR, you can get this stuff for 30 cents a coin right now.
Right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But the way I see it is you got pre-currency reset. What's going to get you? What you going to get you through? Silver and gold.
You gotta have trade. You gotta have something to trade with
to hedge against hyperinflation.
Yeah, definitely.
The dollar's going to be $1, but your loaf of bread might be $25.
Yeah. So it sounds like it's going to be vital to build community.
Like what we're doing right now, having this conversation, building community. Like I had this conversation with my neighbor. He's a truck driver.
We're going to have to look out for each other.
Very, very liberal. But he said, you know what, Reggie, the way you just now broke this down, I can see this.
Yeah.
Like I can see it in the prices. Like the prices are not, I think Fat Joe put it like this, the price yesterday ain't the price today.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Right. I'm not a guru by real estate. That's your genre.
Yeah.
But, apartment complexes during the currency reset might not be a bad thing to own.
Yeah. Multifamily stuff is going to be in high demand.
Yeah.
Renting it out even by the room.
Right.
Yeah.
And thinking different, like, hey, you can rent out 5. Like my son has a room in Charleston. He just pays for the room.
Yeah.
It's a different era, man.
Yeah.
So you got to think different.
And there's a lot of people building out these multi-generational type home places. You remember those terms? Home place, the old home place?
Yeah.
And like three different, like the mom and dad and then the brother and sister and their families all kind of in one little 10-acre spot. Like that's going on. That like people don't even know that like a lot of people are thinking that way now.
You got to. You got to build community, like I said, and get back to some of your roots. I can't tell people what to do. Grab you some seeds. I'm being for real, man.
Yeah.
Like if you in the country, real risk issues. We got to look at the volcano over in what's it called, La Palma, or whatever.
Yeah.
That thing break off, man.
Yeah.
That's a tsunami.
Yeah. You're thinking that was one of your visions, right?
I had
people working in cornfields.
I had a tsunami of a vision.
Yeah.
I had a vision of a tsunami.
Yeah.
I was running with my wife, and we made it to the top of it. But see, my sons are in Charleston right now. I got 2 sons in Charleston.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because my son Brian, he was in the Outer Banks season 2.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Nice.
And so he's all about Charleston. He loves the city, etc. But my boys are there, so I'm like, I pay attention to this volcano breaking off or whatever. You can tell me it's fanfare or goofy talk or whatever.
Yeah.
My sons are in Charleston, but anyway, let's say a scenario: the market. What happens when Wall Street's flooded?
Right. No money's going around at that point.
You're getting your reset.
Yeah.
So that's down the rabbit hole, I might say. But we're collapsing the dollar on our own. Looking divided.
Do you think it's an intentional? You think it's an intentional thing that they're doing with all these spending bills and things like that?
Right. I think just the word mandate. Like if you think like I do, it's kind of like the guy on Sling Blade. They're like, man, yo, you know how to fix this lawnmower? And he's like, yeah, let me see. He opens it up, and he said, ain't got no gas in it. He just pour gas in it. So my thought process is Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble lose 50% of their employees?
Wow.
That's 90% of the goods shipped in America.
Right. What
happens with hyperinflation then? Can you see how this is just circling around us everywhere?
Yeah.
But I tell people to have faith. But best guess estimate: prepare for winter, the best that you can. But how to get the type of videos or get to 100,000 people on TikTok? It's being commitment to service.
Gotcha.
Like just being original. You might catch me in my wife beater after I ate. You might see a spaghetti stain on it, bro. I don't know.
I guess it's whenever
I got something I gotta say. I'm just gonna say it.
Heck yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think like you can look at the videos that hasn't did that well of mine. I put too much effort. It's the videos where I was just straight heart.
Yeah.
I didn't care. And I wake up, 500,000 views.
Wow.
I'm like, dang.
Wow.
And then you try to replicate it.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. So I've learned to, but then I was telling him, I did a video, and I was like, yo, I'm just asking a question. I'm not an anti-vaxxer or whatever. I'm just asking, why did the third booster not get approved? So I just asked the question on TikTok. They yanked it, man, and I got several ugly messages like, yo, you need to stay away from this. I said, just for asking a question?
That's wild.
My content was suppressed. So I'm thinking,
I've heard this term shadow ban. You think your content got shadow banned?
I think that they, I don't want to put a race card, but I think black creators do get suppressed. I think I was on a route to way more than what I was. But I start seeing all these little bots come in, and I would have like 200 likes of my videos all at once.
Wow.
Like 5 different videos. Like I'd wake up and see 2,000 just straight dot, like robot or algorithm like dots or whatever. And it was slow. It would suppress my views.
That's what that is. I think that's what, like when we see those little weird things on YouTube, maybe that's what that is. Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah, man. So let's look in the era.
Yeah.
When you look at Hitler, you look at Stalin, what was they doing? They was burning information. And I'm a believer. If you look at the Greek goddess Medea, where the term media comes from.
Yeah.
It's a god of illusion. That TV screen lies to you visually. It tells lies visually. And I think for the most part, it's what people see on that screen. Yeah. I mean, we're in an era now on TV, man. They can mimic voices. They can do everything.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to look within. You got to have to look within yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
hey, what I want to do, if Weston can, is give these guys a preview of your TikTok, drive them to you. I want to get you as many people that hears us that don't know about you to get to your platform and hear what you got to say. Weston, can you bring up his TikTok real quick? And we'll just, here he's got it. And I am just
nice,
amazed by what you've accomplished here, brother. I mean, it's truly amazing. And next time you come back, we'll talk maybe some about Fauci. We'll talk about the COVID shot. We'll talk about your views on this. I hope you'll be a regular guest, man.
Oh yeah,
come back maybe once a month or something.
Yeah, it'd be great. It'd be great, man. Yeah. I really appreciate it. And can I get this? Because I will.
Oh yeah, you're gonna break this down.
Yeah, I'll break it down and then just use
the all the clips.
Yeah.
And we're going to do that for you, too. Like the moment, maybe we've had a couple moments back and forth, we'll just cut something up and tag you on it and maybe leverage some of your heat to get some heat ourselves.
Yeah, man. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right
very grateful for the opportunity to talk to you guys. Yeah. It's been great. Be hopeful, America.
Yeah.
That's why I say let faith guide you, not fear.
Right.
Because you're going to need that.
Right on. Well, hey, we're shifting. All right, I'm going to just wrap it up, man.
Okay.
I appreciate it. Hey, we're shifting kind of a focus of, we're going to bring in some regular guests. We're going to bring Derek Nowin back. We're going to have Reggie on as a regular. We're going to let you guys get to know some people that we're interested in or love or, like really go deep with, the relationships I already have. And I just want to get in here and talk to interesting people over and over and over again.
Right on.
So that's kind of where we're going with the show. We're still going to talk to some businesses, especially if businesses are going through turmoil here locally. Like we want interesting, relevant content that the community wants to hear about from interesting people. So that's kind of where we're shifting the focus of the show. Episode 15, Reggie, man, love talking to you, brother.
Lock it down, man.
Yes, sir.
It's good being here.
And we'll talk to you guys next time.
It was a good talk, man.
That was a good talk.
I felt like Yeezy out here for a second, bro.